So our project today is to create this musical quilt. And I love the name of this so much because I think when we say the word quilt, we already kind of conjure up in our mind what a quilt looks like, right? These different like beautiful patterns that are pieced together to create this wonderful landscape. And so we're going to kind of keep that in mind as we go through our process today. But the supplies that we'll need will be our journal or a blank piece of paper. Either one is good. And we'll also need color. And the truth is, any color works. So if you have colored pencils or pens like I have today, markers, you can bring that in. If you have pastels or watercolored crayons, anything like that will be good for today. But honestly, if you have just a number 2 pencil or a regular black pen, you can use that today as well. We're going to focus on mark making and color if you have the color. Now, as I said earlier, the process that we're going to be doing today is really creating a musical quilt. So we're going to really listen to some music today and really focus on slowing down and being present, right? Listening to the music and kind of imagining what it might look like if we could actually see the sounds in front of us. So this is an art practice that has been done for years, transforming or translating music into art making. Music and art have a lot of overlap, right? They're inextricably linked, right? Whether you are listening to music or playing music, whether you are looking at art or making art, you reap benefits. One of the main benefits of music and creativity is that it's one of the very few things that utilizes both sides of our brain. So it's so good for us, especially as we age, to help strengthen our brain and strengthen those connections in our brain. The most well-known person who was known for translating music into art making is an artist by the name of Kandinsky. So this here is a quote by Kandinsky, and I just wanted to read that for just a second. He says, "The sound of color is so definite that it would be hard to find anyone who could express bright yellow with bass notes or a dark lake with a treble." One of the things I think he's saying, well, I don't know if he's saying, one of the things I'm pulling from this, we'll say that, is that we naturally want to make these connections, right? We naturally want to connect things. Colors have meaning. Kandinsky was an abstract expressionist painter. He believed very strongly in that color and lines could express, they had meaning and they could express emotion. And here he's talking about bright yellow immediately conjures up this type of music, a certain note. These images that he thinks of, this music that he's playing, they connect, right? And so we're going to kind of go along with that a little bit today. I wanted to show just a couple images of his work here. These are 3 different pieces inspired by music, done while he was listening to music. And so I want you to take a moment and look at this. Look at these images here. They are all different in their appearance. So take a moment and just look at these images. What are some of the things that you notice in these paintings here? we're talking about music and how music can influence the painting style and color choices, especially for Kandinsky. Um, and so I want us to look at these. What do you think, or what type of music do you think is being played for these pieces? We think about these expressing um, emotion. If we look at some of these images, what emotion do you think they're expressing? I know that each of these pieces can express different emotion. One of them may feel dark and heavy. One may feel more chaotic and light. Um, I want to just kind of point out that each of these, even though they were made to music while listening to music, they're very different. One is a repeating pattern in color over and over again. One is more line focused, lines and angles. One is more what's the right bulbous spaces of color. So they're all very different. One of the things I want to really point out is that whatever you do is going to be right. You can see just with Kandinsky's pieces here that they're very different, the same hand, but very different. And so as we go through these next few moments listening to music, I want us to think about that. Your piece can look like Kandinsky's or not. It can look like a space of patterns and mark making, like a Zentangle or mindful drawing. Or it can look like patterns from a quilt that are all pieced together to create a larger landscape. It doesn't matter exactly what it looks like, but we're just going to spend some time listening to music and thinking about how we might be able to translate that into a visual piece. I know that may feel a little intimidating, but we're going to go through this together. You'll be able to see what I'm doing, but I really want to encourage you to listen. I know sometimes for me, it's easier to listen when I can close my eyes and really think about the music that I'm hearing. Maybe it helps to lower your gaze in the distance and really focus on that sound. But what we're going to do is listen to that music and think about what colors come to mind. Okay? Maybe it's a bright yellow, or maybe it's a deep purple. What marks come to mind when you hear the music? Is it a thin line, a thick line, a curved line? Maybe shapes come to mind, circles or squares or something completely different. Maybe a pattern comes to mind, or maybe a landscape with a ground and sky. whatever comes up, know that that's good and that's right. So let's go ahead and get that clean sheet of paper. We're going to start off by making a grid for ourselves. So I'm going to take one of my pens here, and I'm just going to make a grid. You want to go ahead and make your grid as well. We're going to do a grid of 6 squares. And have your art supplies ready. I'm going to be focusing on color pencils as my main medium today. But whatever color that or a color supply you want to use, go ahead and pull those out. What we're going to do is start listening to a piece of music. I'm going to really encourage you, like I said, to just listen and think about those colors and shapes that come up as you're listening, and actually do some mark making in one of our squares. So looking back at the piece we just did, at that music we just listened to, what are some of the things that came to mind as you were listening to this piece? Were there certain colors that jumped out at you?